The Wild West is often remembered through legend's quick draw, gunfights at high noon, fearless outlaws, lone sheriffs, and untamed frontiers. Hollywood turned the American West into a land conquered by violence and bravery alone. But the real story of how the Wild West was won is far more complex, quieter, and in many ways more troubling than the myths suggest. After the Civil War ended in 1865, the United States turned its attention westward. Millions of acres of land lay beyond the Mississippi River, and the federal government was determined to settle it. The Homestead Act of 1862 promised 160 acres to any citizen willing to farm the land. This law, more than any gunfight, drew families west. Farmers, not gunslingers, became the true agents of Western expansion. Railroads played an even greater role. Steel tracks spread rapidly across the plains, connecting the east to the west. The completion of the Transcontinental Railroad in 1869 changed everything. Towns sprang up along the tracks, goods moved faster, and federal authority reached places once isolated. Where trains went, order followed. The railroad companies, backed by government land grants and military protection, reshaped the frontier permanently. Law in the Wild West was not established by lone sheriffs but by institutions. Federal marshals, courts, and judges slowly replaced frontier justice. Violence certainly existed, but it was often exaggerated. Most Western towns experienced fewer murders than Eastern cities of the same era. Stability came not from shootouts, but from laws, contracts, and enforcement. The U.S. Army also played a decisive role. Western expansion depended on the removal of Native American tribes from their ancestral lands. Through broken treaties, forced relocations, and brutal wars, the Army cleared the way for settlers and railroads. Events like the Trail of Tears, the Sand Creek Massacre, and the Battle of Wounded Knee revealed a dark truth. The West was won through suffering as much as settlement. Native resistance was strong and determined. Leaders like Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, and Geronimo fought to defend their people and lands. They won important victories such as the Battle of the Little Bighorn, but the power of the federal government was overwhelming. Disease, starvation, and military force eventually crushed Native independence. Reservations replaced freedom, and a way of life thousands of years old was nearly destroyed. Economic forces, not heroism, truly ended the Wild West. Barbed wire fenced open lands, ending the era of free-range cattle drives. Banks, land offices, and corporations controlled property and credit. Mining booms attracted workers but also brought regulation and order. As money replaced survival, chaos faded. Technology sealed the frontier's fate. Telegraph lines connected distant towns instantly. Mass-produced goods replaced handmade tools. Even the iconic revolver became less important than paperwork and property law. By 1890, the U.S. Census Bureau officially declared the frontier closed. The Wild West, as a place of open land and endless possibility, no longer existed. The final irony is that the legend of the Wild West grew strongest after it ended. Buffalo Bill's Wild West shows, dime novels, and later Hollywood films transformed a complicated history into simple stories of good versus evil. These myths ignored the farmers, railroad workers, Native Americans, women, and immigrants who truly shaped the West. The Wild West was not won by the fastest gun, but by government policy, economic power, and relentless expansion. It was built by settlers and corporations, enforced by soldiers and laws, and paid for by those who lost their land and lives. Understanding how the West was really won forces us to look beyond legend and face the real cost of American expansion.